Okay, I am looking at Bitcoin. So, let's check some things out. I set some rules down. We're going to look at those rules, some different time frames, see how everything works. Go back to the month. So, that red line has been very important, but more important on this page is that it is lining up with the 50-day on the month. So that's good. And if it gets above the 50-day, I don't think it will drop, right? I don't think it will. I don't think we'll ever see the bottom that we've seen so far. Let me see. Let's look at the MACD. Do. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, same thing, right? MACD. It's looking like it could turn around. I'm liking this. Don't get me wrong. Now, we get into the week. And where our 200 is meeting our 50, this is like a razor's edge to me, right? And we got a one candle, but the two may be too big of a candle, meaning that we're not doing a sustainable climb like we should towards the bottom. I said many times that we are still in a bull market, right? We are not out of a bull market at all. Not yet. We could be close, or we could be a little while away. A lot of this is going to have to do with the economies and where people are going to be putting money, if they're actually going to be putting money into BTC, right? People could put money into BTC while pulling money out of other coins, and that should happen. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen more coins go away, to be honest with you. I'm yeah. We've had some pretty heavy weather, but I don't know if we're out of it yet. I feel like the bottom's in, but I feel like we could easily come back down to 20 or somewhere. I don't know why I have that 1700 there, but somewhere between 20 and 1700, I feel like we could drop down there, especially with the way the economy's going, especially with the way that Bitcoin seems to be pumping on what the Fed does and CPI data and stuff like that. It seems to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me look at Tesla again real quick. Okay, I don't think I'm wrong. So I don't like to see it coupled to markets like that, right? But I think that's where we are. I think bad news. Yeah. So I'm not ready yet, and I've said I wasn't ready for a while. If we go to the day, we haven't gotten to this yet. So I'm going to extend it. All right. we're still there. We crossed here, which is great. Absolutely phenomenal. We bounced, well, okay, here, there. 50 crossed the 100. That's phenomenal. That's a good sign, especially on the day. We are above the 200, which is good. And we got a candle jump, on a 2 candle on the TD sequential on the day, which is good. So it's very possible, since I like channels, that we could develop something in here. And this could even go down to there, down to there. But it's very possible that we could develop a channel in there. And we might not hold that channel. It might look like a channel's forming, and I would almost... Okay, this is where, if I were to super guess, which is something that I like to try and do sometimes, this is where I would think the channel would develop. Right? And while we're in this channel, the longer we're in this channel, the better. As soon as we go down, we could go down. So on the day, looking at the MACD is telling me to always be closing, right? Just when you look at the MACD, just always remember the first thing the MACD is telling you to always be closing. So I'm out. I don't have any trades right now. Look at Ethereum, and we're seeing that we could be getting support here, but we could lose the support, and our MACD on Ethereum is telling us on the day that your trades should be closing. Always be closing. ABC. Now you know. All right. So now here's the trip, though. If we go to our 4-hour, I got my 1, my 2. Am I going to get a 3 up to 24K on my last trade, right? So I don't remember what I said last time I streamed, to be honest with you. But I think we were down here when I was worried about going down. And I'm still worried about going down. However, now that I'm looking at this again, this is telling me there might be a trade a trade opportunity here. So we've got some trading signals. This isn't the time to take your trading account and spread it out over 12 different cryptocurrencies, though, right? Although that might work, but this is where we're looking. We're wanting stop limits right now. So let's take a look and see where we would drop some stop limits on a long position. Right. So right here, we want to make sure we're not going to do a 6%. We're going to set it tight. So we're going to go about 2%. And this is if we jumped in YOLO'd right now, and we're hoping for 8%, but we will settle for 4.4, and our 1.5 ratio is telling us 3.4%, which is where we may have to bail, right? So we got a good chance that it's going to go to 3.4%, good chance it's going to go to 2.29%, but we're hoping that it goes up to 8%. So I rarely do trades on Bitcoin. That's when I usually look at other coins, right? So we just had a Matic pop, which I drew these lines here because I like this 1, 2, 3 bottom and then the 2 on the 50. and it went off, and I think I stopped out right about here when it was coming down. So I didn't catch a top or anything, but I think that was like 7%. No, it was. I didn't get in there. I got in right at the 3. So yeah, 7%. So small trade, very small trade, only a couple $100, but 7%. So yeah, enough for tacos. Enough. I can afford 2 craving boxes. All right. So there are trades in here. Matic just happened to take off. Now we're looking at when I'm looking at this on the 4-hour. I'm seeing that some things need to cool off a little bit still, right? But other things may be ready for a small trade. So if I look at algo, which is something that's on my list of things to watch for the coming next year, right? That's a possible 8% if it reaches its last high. And my stop limit on that could be 4, or I would set it really tight and do 2%. Just flat out 2%. Right? So at 1.5, I'm not going to get much. So I'm guessing at like 3% is where I want to start raising my stop limit until I'm out of the trade. And that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm raising my stop limit as things go. And that's how I got stopped out here. Is we'll make a little line. Here, let's get rid of this. And we'll make a little line. Right? So we'll make a little line. We'll make a little line right about there. I'll make that green. I know, right? There we go. Green line right there. Well, now my stop limit on this was down here. This was the first part. The next time that I checked it, it was on this bar right here. So I moved it to a break even, right, which was right above it. And then on this 8 candle here, when it was going up, I moved it right here. And it came down, and it's frustrating. It's something that you look at, and it's that one thing, boy, why couldn't you get that top, right? Because that's a lot. That's a big difference right there. That right there is about 7%. And then if I had gotten the top, it would have been 12%, maybe close to 13%. But the same thing is if I had gotten in sooner, I can't watch this 24 hours a day. I was lucky to see this hitting this right here, and I watched it until it got to here. And then it went up. And I could have bought on the 1 and the 2, and I could have bought as soon as that 2 crossed over the 50. Both of those are buy signals to me, right? But for some reason, I didn't. It went all the way up. I got really, really upset with myself, and I thought, okay, now I'm about to FOMO in, right? So it came back down, and I saw the green 3, and I said, okay. And then it didn't hit my stop limit. Went up, but rather than sit and watch it, this is how I played it. So I just trailing stop limits. That's the term if you want to go Google it and get a good explanation. But that's all I'm doing. That's it. No secret. No nothing. Let it all ride in the trading account, right? So we could be seeing a bounce soon, and we could get that 1, 2, 3 that is solely superstition. right? But it's possible, and that 3 could end at 24K. That's all that I'm saying. Because on the monthly, let me get rid of that too. Right? We are still in a bear market. Technically, we are still in a bear market. Now, some people have a line, and I had one. So I used to have it, but if anybody who has that line, they should have gotten rid of it by now. But I had a line that went like this. Something like that. And the idea is that once you cross over this line, the downtrend is either done or it's going to be close to done, right? That's the idea. So we're going above that, which is good. Happy days. But the monthly could... Volume. Why is volume on here? Volume has not been helping me at all. I don't know what to say. But the volume's so low that I don't think volume's helping me. So we got some kind of a boost. Okay, other coins here real quick. Ethereum. So if we look at other things on the 4 hour, and we may want to... Yeah, let's do that. We're going to ditch this. We're going to get the RSI. And for the fun of it, we're going to get rid of the TMA. We're going to pull up the Trade Pro Rejection Zone Indicator by Stratfather. So this will be giving me a buy signal, especially if it ends up looking like this or anything like this over here, right? Or this 1, 2, which is what I'd really like to see. It's got to come down. So the RSI is telling me to wait. This tool right here is telling me not to buy right now on Ethereum. I go to BNB, and this could be a different story depending on where this is. So if this actually develops a green candle, a 1-2 green candle, and goes above 304, that might be a good place to put a trade. So what that would look like would be like 1.7% with a possibility of 5%. That's not really that good. So I would move on, and I'd look at something like Algo with a possible 7-8% and maybe a possible run. Now, the last video, I know I said that we're in a bear, and I know that I said that I thought we were going down. And this is one of those things where two things can be true at the same time, right? So if Bitcoin goes all the way up to 24.8K, I see no reason why something like Algo couldn't go up more than 8%. That's what I'm saying right now. I don't have a buy signal yet, but even if I were to raise this up here 7% with a crazy 2% stop limit, and I trail that up, this is how I'm doing it, right? Sometimes it goes up a lot. Right now we're in a bear market, and EOS is another one. The RSI is really not telling me to jump in yet, but if this comes down here or develops a good candle pattern, it's hard to tell. AVAX, that might be another one too. The RSI is telling me that it might be a good time to wait, and none of these are really matching up. Like I said, though, this could dip down to this yellow signal and then go back above, and we would be there. And I'll see similar things. I wonder if this is more visual of, because this is actually working out really well, because this is telling you, this is giving you the signal all the way back here to start going long, right? So on cake, this has been telling us that it is safe to go long for the past 22 days. So it's a good idea to bring up different signals. However, not out yet, right? And I think there was a Wednesday night, and that pump happened. That pump was real. That pump was, but I don't think we're going to reach this low again, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I think this line at 20K, I think these are the hardcore Bitcoin holders, the people that aren't going to let go, that aren't going to, and that will buy between 20 and 17K. So we could see that V where it shoots, it drops down and then it shoots back up because buyers come back in because they know that anything under 20K is going to be the lowest that they'll be able to get into it from now on. All right. That's it. Hope this was useful. Have a good one.